I'm really interested in routines, one, developing them for myself and looking to the routines of others, particularly successful people, because I've got this idea that if I live like successful people, that I myself will reach some modicum of success. Recently, I've fallen out of a lot of my good routines and habits. So I thought that I would spend a week plus, I'm on now day 10, following a routine of a very famous person, Benjamin Franklin. So if you've clicked on this video, you already know that it is about Benjamin Franklin's daily routine that I have been doing. But Benjamin Franklin is someone that I think is a pretty cool guy. Benjamin Franklin was a polymath, inventor, scientist, printer, politician, and diplomat. Despite being broke in his early 20s, he was rich enough to retire at 42 and spent his next 42 years doing some pretty impressive stuff. Franklin helped draft the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution, and he negotiated the 1783 Treaty of Paris, ending the Revolutionary War. Mr. Franklin is the face of the $100 bill. He is known for his famous kite and key experiment that demonstrated that lightning was electricity. He invented bifocals and the rocking chair. And despite only 2 years of formal education, he received honorary degrees from Harvard, Yale, the College of William and Mary, the University of St. Andrews, and Oxford. The guy was wicked smart, as they say in Boston, where he was born. And if you want to check out a good biography, you can read his autobiography, which is where his routine comes from. I enjoyed reading his biography several years ago, and I've actually been rereading it this past week as I'm doing his routine to get in the mindset of Benjamin Franklin. But he's someone like us. Even though he was, alive 250 years ago, he had the same problems of trying to figure out, what is my career going to be? How am I going to make a difference? How am I going to feel content and happy in my day-to-day life? And in doing so, he came up with these 13 virtues that he tried to live by. And one of those was order, having order both in his physical possessions and surrounding, but his day-to-day activities, order in his business, that everything had its place and time. And that's where his daily routine came from. So I'm going to walk you through the daily routine that I have been doing for the past week and share my thoughts on it. So the very first thing is that Benjamin Franklin was an early riser, waking up at 5 a.m. I would quickly splash some water on my face. That would be my washing, at least immediately upon waking. I would later shower. And for me, in addressing the powerful goodness, I took some liberties and said that was going to be me going down to the gym to move my body and celebrate life. And then contriving the day's business. I took some time every single morning, especially as I was starting my true work day at 7 a.m. to just think, okay, what do I have to do today to have a productive day? What's that one task that I need to get done, and making my to-do list, but not a laundry list of things, but maybe one key thing. Prosecute the present study for me would be reading. As I said, I've been reading his biography, but also several other books. I've gotten a lot of reading done this week. And breakfast for me over the past week has really just been coffee. Haven't been eating breakfast, so that's been how I've started my day. But there's a key aspect of his routine that I really like, is that every single morning he asked himself a simple question. And the morning question was, what good shall I do today? And I think that is a very powerful question. Maybe you have a morning journaling routine and you do something like the 5-minute journal. Well, that's one of those questions. What's one of the key thing you're going to do today? And then he started his work at 8 a.m. And as far as routines go, and looking up other famous people's routines, his ports pretty well with a standard American work day going to the office. I start my day at 7 a.m., but I spent that first hour figuring out the day, orienting myself, and then diving into real earnest work by 8 a.m. from 8 a.m. until noon, he worked. There's no more detail on there, but at this point when he wrote this, he was a printmaker, so working in his shop, maybe setting the printing press, going out to talk to people who would be, getting his business. So it doesn't really define what work is, but working from 8 until noon. And then from noon until 2, he would read or overlook his accounts and dine. For me in the modern age, usually when I am eating lunch, especially teleworking, I have a bad habit of not getting up from my desk, not so much continuing to work during lunch, but just mindlessly watching YouTube videos. Maybe you're doing that right now as you're eating lunch. But over the past week, I have been reading while I have been eating my lunch. Reading one of many books that I've been working my way through. One that I finished this week was Nick Offerman's new book, Where the Deer and the Antelope Play. Excellent book if you're looking for a new book to read. So reading that book and other books, overlooking my accounts, checking emails, seeing what things I had going for the rest of the day, and then of course dining, eating lunch. And then he resumed work at 2 and worked until 6. This worked very well for me because I work until 5:30. I work a 4-10 schedule at my day job, working from 7 to 5:30, Tuesday through Friday, and I have Mondays off, but I tried to maintain this exact same schedule even on my Monday off. To do things like edit this YouTube video, think of ideas for different videos, and just work on my various projects. In the evening, which for him started at 6, he had a list of things that he would do. First one being put things in their place, then supper, music or diversion or conversation, and then he would examine the day. And this first one, the putting things in their place, was really, really big and changed my week, and is something that I'm going to continue to do. And for putting things in their place, for me, it took on a few different forms. One, after I was done with my workday, cleaning my desk off, putting everything away, so then when I wake up the next morning, when I start my workday, I have a nice clean desk, rather than being greeted by a stack of papers, an open notebook, maybe a coffee mug sitting there. I have left my desk in shambles before, but it's nice to clean it off, and then when I go back into that space in the morning, it's fresh and it's clean. It really helps me set into my workday. Another thing would be my apartment. Taking time to straighten up the apartment in the evening. It doesn't take much time, 10-15 minutes, and I could put everything in order. Cleaning all the dishes, making sure that I was setting out my shoes and my gym shorts for the morning, so I wouldn't have to disturb my wife while she's still sleeping, because she's not waking up at 5 a.m. like Benjamin Franklin or myself, and just making sure that everything was set and tidy, which was really, really great. Then going into supper, eating, often while enjoying some modern diversion of watching a show. We've been going through Seinfeld, so that's what we've been doing. And then after maybe an hour and a half of Seinfeld, turning on music. And it was interesting to think about what Benjamin Franklin would have been listening to as far as music. When he is talking about music, those are people like playing music or singing like there in his home, which was fun to think about. We put on some music from the time period from the 1750s, and let me tell you, not something that I would gravitate towards, but it was fun listening to, and then we would switch it to some nice jazz for reading. Play jazz for reading. And then the examination of the day, which for me looked like writing in my Some Lines a Day journal in the evening, reflecting on the day and what I had done. At the end of the day, he reflected, what good have I done today? So I really like this practice of what good have I done today, thinking about that, writing it in my Some Lines a Day journal, and then he began sleeping at 10 p.m. And Benjamin Franklin only slept 7 hours, and I'm a person that I don't need a ton of sleep, but I still need about 8 hours. So rarely did I actually make it to 10 p.m., usually falling asleep somewhere in the 9 p.m. hour when I got too tired and was dozing off while reading a book. So I really enjoyed his schedule. Maybe it's because that his schedule already fits largely with how I structure my life to begin with. But let me know what you thought about his schedule. And if you want me to try out schedules of other people, famous people, successful people, let me know. There's lots of them out there. Some of them are pretty outlandish. Leonardo da Vinci is one that comes to mind. I believe he practiced biphasic sleep, which I'm probably not going to do because I think that would absolutely wreck me. But let me know if you know of any other daily routines. Maybe you want me waking up at 2:30, 3:30 in the morning doing the Mark Wahlberg workout. If you want to see it, I'm willing to at least torture myself for a week and make a video out of it. Thank you very much. My name is Tyler Lloyd, and this is my YouTube channel about life. See ya. Bye.